Hello guys and welcome back to my vlog. I'm sorry that the lighting isn't great. I appreciate most vloggers film during the day, but I'm usually very busy during the day, so I'm vlogging at night. I hope you can make it out okay. So the title of this vlog was a little bit juicy, a little bit to catch people in, and what I'm going to be talking about is what it's like to become a celebrity, or take you inside that world a little bit. And I'll start out with a very, very big but, if that's the right word, or a very big caveat. And that's that I don't think that I am a celebrity. I know that I've been inside that world because I was momentarily on television last year. But what I do have is a lot of quite potentially exciting, potentially useful, if you may ever find yourself in that situation, things to talk about and advice to give. From a business perspective and from a personal perspective, and actually I think it's quite interesting, and because I'm such a nice person, I'm going to take you inside that world as well. I'm going to take my vlogging along with me tonight to a VIP product launch, and you get to see that firsthand, what it's like behind the other side of the magazines that I guess that people read and the newspaper publishings, and I hope that makes for interesting content. Anyway, so how would I even have an inkling of knowing this? So I'm very much aware that there's about to be another series of The Apprentice, and that's what I was on last year. And so when I've seen some of the candidates announced in the papers, I'm like, great, good luck to them. But it also made me think back to my journey and where I was this time last year, and what it was actually like to go from relative obscurity, shall we say, into being thrust into that media spotlight. Yeah, okay, you know, there was a lot of fun along the way. Ultimately, I've done pretty well out of it because obviously fame, if you like, equals PR, and PR is very valuable for any business, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But if we go right back to the beginning, when it first was all happening, I mean, going on The Apprentice for me was, as it is for anybody, a fabulous opportunity. But it wasn't necessarily as straightforward as people would think, because as a lawyer and as somebody who's a professional, I think it was a big decision to go on something like that, because we know it's talked about all the time about the editing process and things like that. And I was pretty happy. Obviously, I wasn't everywhere I wanted to be in my career, but I was very proud to be a lawyer. I didn't want to jeopardise that. I'd worked very hard. So would stepping into the spotlight affect that negatively? Perhaps that was my first thought. And it was something I wasn't willing to risk, but I added it up and weighed it up rather, and thought, actually, yeah, I'll go for it. Let's give it a try. And then also, you know, you have to obviously trust in how you are as a person and how that will come across, and that people will hopefully warm to you. You know, I received such a fabulous response through Twitter and all of the social medias. I put my vlog up the other day and I got some really nice comments. Thank you guys. I'm looking forward to this vlogging part of my life, because I think it will make me really interactive with you guys. I'm going to do a Q&A shortly and things like that. But it wasn't always the case, because as soon as you're announced as a candidate, everybody loves, I don't know why, but everybody loves to hate people on The Apprentice. So as soon as the candidates were announced, not so much directed at me, but certainly, well, you know, it was directed at me, but on photographs that weren't linked to me, should I say. So when The Apprentice puts the candidates on Facebook and Twitter and things like that, a lot of really negative comments were written on there, some really hurtful things. And I thought, oh my God, is this what it's going to be like? Is this the life of a celebrity? Is this what people have to put up with? Why would anybody ever do this? And I know trolling is talked and written about a lot, and I thought that was the start of what was going to be a continuous experience. Unfortunately for me, the great British public, I mean, Lord knows what everyone was saying in their living rooms, but to my face or to my social medias, everyone was really supportive. I think the difference was when you just saw that photograph initially, people just had that one thing to judge you on, and that one thing probably came along with some very trumped up line about how you're the best thing since sliced bread, etc., etc., and that obviously doesn't warm people to you. But once they got an opportunity to see your personality, people actually then were really nice. There was the odd exception here and there, but phenomenally, overwhelmingly good. So that was a really good side of it. And then obviously you then get to hear people's comments on social media about you, about how you performed on that task on the television. Those things are really positive actually, and I certainly really enjoyed to get to hear those things. Then there's obviously there's the real world stuff. So one day you could go to the shop and nobody would know or even care who you were. The next day you could go to the shop and you're literally looking at yourself in a magazine or in a newspaper article or something, and you're stood there. I'll never forget the time I was on the train on the way back home to Manchester. It was one of the Virgin Pendolino trains, and I was just sat there and watching this guy was reading OK magazine, and I'd been to some sort of celebrity event in there, and there was quite a sizable enough picture of me in the paper, and I was actually sat just one row behind him, and he didn't have a clue. I think I actually took a photo of that and Instagrammed it because I thought I was in the photo with him reading that magazine in the background, and it was just also so bizarre. Anyway, so what else would have been interesting from that? So the celebrity lifestyle, I suppose, that like I said I've got to see a little bit of. It's really interesting. Of course you get invited to some fabulous parties. I've partied, if that's the right word, with so many people. I'll share some photos. I'll try and splice in photos on this vlog of people that have my photograph taken with, or events that I've been to, just to prove that, you know, it's all real. And it's been fun actually. It's been really fun. But obviously throughout this, the difference between somebody who's got a media profile but is continuing not to just be a celebrity and a celebrity is the fact that it's very time consuming. And I'm not taking anything away from celebrities, because some of them do work really hard. I know you're probably not going to believe me, but some of them really do. But it is almost a full-time job. You know, people are getting their hair done, their nails done, their makeup done, just to spend all day in this event. So I was really selective about what I chose to attend. There's things like, I don't know, charity dues was obviously a higher priority for me when I had the opportunities and wasn't doing something in the business and things like that. Brands that I liked the sound of that went along with the sports and nutrition stuff, for example, goes along with my own passion for fitness, and things that, you know, generally I thought might be quite interesting. So I hope you're going to find it interesting when I take you inside one of these events this evening rather. Yeah, I'll be the least prepared person there. I'll be the person that didn't get to sit in the salon all day and do the makeup because I was in meetings. Sorry about that. And yeah, and what I'm going to do is try and get some interviews for you to see what real celebrities, or celebrities that have a much higher status than little old me, actually think of fame, what it's done for them. Has it been harmful? That's one of the things I wanted to know, because not at any point during this journey would I have wanted to do anything that harmed me as a professional or the business. And it is quite difficult because, you know, people will sell stories on you. As I've seen, most of the stuff about me was really professional and was about the show, but unfortunately, you know, elements of your private life will creep into the media, and it's most disappointing when you look to the source of that and where that might have come from, because if that's somebody that you are or work close to, then that's going to hurt. But yeah, I mean, freebies as well, that's a big thing for celebrities. All of these parties come with a goodie bag, but I think, you know, which is fine. Obviously, it's a nice token for your time that you've gone to spend there. I mean, one thing that I didn't really get involved with, but I had the opportunity to, were celebrity endorsements. So, I mean, obviously there are brands that I love already that I don't mind tagging on Instagram or tweeting about, but I did get some approaches that didn't sit too well with me. Well, they did, because they offered me thousands of pounds, but they didn't sit well with me because they weren't part of my own personal brand. Who you are as a person is I mean, it's some stupid thing anyone has ever said, but who you are as a person is obviously key to you, and you have to be able to remain true to that. So that's all I wanted to share with you for now. I hope that's been interesting. I will, like I said, I'm going to take you with me. I'm going to take you with me this afternoon, this evening, and hopefully you'll find that interesting. But let me know and comment to let me know what you'd like to see more of. I'm probably not going to come back to you on this bit, so I will ask you to subscribe. So thank you very much for listening, and please share. Thank you.